First off, were you scared or were you just so calm? Because that seems like before I would get nervous walking out to fights. I couldn't imagine UFC 1 having no idea what you're walking into. And you were the smallest guy in there by far.
I think my family was so good on building the confidence and the old saying that you win your fight on the training camp. I used to spar with guys that are much bigger and stronger, and my brothers who bring boxers and kickboxers and wrestlers, and you see, so for me to spar, and I already been through that, so wasn't something like new.
Yeah,
no, I've been through that battle in training camp.
So you were just so confident you would win.
Before my fights, I'm asleep. Brothers have to come in, wake me up.
Damn,
it's time to go. But heart rate walking into a fight would be like this, like right now. Sometimes it's scary for them. They're like, man, you gotta wake up, gotta pump it up a little bit. They try.
Your corners like wake up. Yeah.
But I'm good. It's like, let's go.
I've coached a lot of people, and I've learned people are different. They're not the same, and you can't expect every guy to be different. Some guys need to get pumped up. Some guys want to go totally relaxed. Yeah. You have to look at each person and learn what they do. You can't coach everyone to act the same. Same with moves. You got to look what works for them.
Yep.
Some people are best going out just calm, chill. Other people got to be like fired up, ready to go.
Yeah. Some people like the armbar. Some people like the footlocks.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
So hey. You can apply the triangle easy. It's okay, no problem. I'm not going to force you to go for the footlock if you like the triangle.
Exactly. As a coach, you got to learn. You can't coach everyone exactly the same. You got to make it that.
But I think my family was so good at keeping me calm and give me the confidence.
It was so ingrained in your head that the Gracie martial arts was the best. You were going to win. You guys basically just knew that at the time.
It was like they would say, I think it was Hickson that said, "Man, I'm going to walk you up to the cage. But you're going to walk in there by yourself. I'm going to stay outside mentally tripping your opponent.
Yeah.
Mentally, I'll be tripping him so he falls down so he can win. But I can't get in with you." So I was like, all right, we're good.
Yeah, and Hickson's another just absolute OG. I remember, I've never trained with him, but I remember I was training with Crone one time, and Hickson came in and started watching us train for like an hour. And I'm like trying not to get nervous with Hickson just sitting there watching me and Crone train. And Crone's the kind of guy that'll like go an hour nonstop. Yeah. I'm just like, well, Hickson's watching. I don't want to be the one to stop.
Yeah, but Hicks was a beast back in the day.
Exactly. He's one of the best too. Yeah. So you dominated the first one. Was your toughest match? Shamrock was the toughest match in the first UFC, I believe.
I would think all of them were the tough.
Yeah,
in a fight, there's no easy fight because as soon as you put your guard down, there's no such a thing as a lucky punch. The opponent meant to swing the hands at you, and if he hits, hey, there's no lucky. He meant to do that. So people say, "Oh, it was a lucky punch." No, there was no lucky punch, man. There was no. Yeah, he got you. So hey. So do not put your guard down. There's no easy fight. Every fight is difficult.
Yeah, but you winning the first few UFC tournaments, that completely just changed the world of martial arts overnight. A lot of people, there was anger, excitement. A lot of people didn't want to accept it. A lot of the karate people tried denying it.
I think a lot of people thought it was fake.
Yeah, some people thought it was fake. I think it was just so shocking because no one thought you were going to win. You were the small little guy.
I think after the second or the third one that people was like, okay, this thing's for real. Even though Gerard Gordeau knocked out the tooth of Taylor Tully, the sumo wrestler, kicked him on the face, the tooth fly out. People still thinking, that was fake. No, that was not fake.
No, it was real.
A guy that had a mouthpiece on, got kicked on the face, you see the tooth flying out. It's like, how fake is that?
That's very real. You fought that monster, Chemo, just jacked. You won that one, but he was tough.
He was a brawler.
That guy was a monster.
Strong.
Big dude. Strong. Yeah.
250 pounds. Pure strength. He was a street fighter. It's like
tough dude.
Tough.
I think he wrestled you with your triangle.
But I fought armbar. But I thought that one was a wrong fight because I heard he was strong. And I tried to match strength with him.
Oh, no. Bad
idea. That was a bad idea.
That
was a bad idea. We both ended up exhausted on the end. I barely got the arm bar. He barely had strength to tap. Makar just tapped me and stopped the fight. And he was like exhausted. I was exhausted. And after that one, I could not come back because of dehydration for the second fight.
Yeah, and then that was at UFC 2 or 3?
That was UFC 3.
Yeah, okay. And then 4...
But UFC 2 was 4 fights in one night.
Oh, it was 4 on that one?
It was 4. in one night.
I fought 2 fights in one night one time, and that was so exhausting. People don't understand.
That was 4 fights,
you put
yes.
everything into a fight, so to go out and fight 4 times is insane.
No time limit, no weight division.
Wow. Yeah, no weight division either. Because I remember I fought Carlos Condit and Yushin Okami on the same night. I was so exhausted after. My friends wanted to go out and party. Those are both just wars. And I'm just like, I just want to go home and go to bed.
I just want to go to sleep.
I still went out. They dragged me out.
I don't even have strength to eat. It's like, I don't
like the bar trying to drink. They're all celebrating. I'm like, bro, you know how tired my head's all cut up. I beat Carlos Condit, but he was just elbowing me in the head over and over. I'm just like, dude, I just had 2 wars.
And there was a UFC 4 who was against Dan Severn on the finals.
That was a beast.
He was a 265.
Okay, I hate to admit this, but I was rooting for him because I was a wrestler. That's the one time I rooted against you because I was a wrestler.
Sorry,
and I didn't know.
But hey, we brought you into jiu-jitsu.
Because I didn't know wrestling was a martial art at that time, and then I seen this wrestler just smashing guys. I'm like, oh my god, I'm doing a martial art and didn't know it. But when you beat him, I liked you too.
If you see what he did to the people before me. He was just picking up people and slamming them on the ground, head down first, and it's like slamming everybody and walk around. It's like arms
just a
up
monster of a wrestler.
It's like beating everybody until he run into me. It's like
now that fight lasted for a while, right?
It was like 16 minutes.
Yeah,
but the best part of that fight was the commentators.
Yeah, what are they saying? There's like, Royce is gonna get smashed.
It was Jeff Blatnit.
Yeah, that sounds correct. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
And again, talking in favor of Severn, and the football player that was the commentator.
Yeah, I think I remember you talking about. I can't remember his name.
He was on my favor. And they were arguing with each other.
I need to go rewatch this fight. I remember the time watching it because I was a wrestler, and that's the first time I saw wrestlers destroying people. And I go, "Whoa, this dude's scary."
Jim Brown was the commentator. Brown, yes, the Jim Brown was on my favor, and Jeff Blatnit was against him. He wasn't Dan Severn because he was a wrestler.
Yeah. But the time that was the toughest fight, and that guy was he won a bunch of fights. That was and that's when all the wrestlers came in after that. The Colemans, all these monsters, and they were just huge guys coming in like 270.
It became a rivalry for jiu-jitsu guys.
There was that time period. There's a huge rivalry, jiu-jitsu versus wrestling for multiple years.
Because they were bigger, stronger, and the jiu-jitsu guys were all the smaller sizes. So
they would go on top and punch, but the jiu-jitsu guys would look for submission. So it was that big rivalry.
Like the Nogueira brothers and Murilo Bustamante and. Those are the ones defending jiu-jitsu after that against the wrestlers. Fábio Gurgel.
We're living through the most revolutionary time ever in martial arts. Look from 93, let's say, to like 2003, in that 20-year period. It's changing slower now. But think of how insane martial arts train, just like everything merged together to like one martial art now. It's like it's a newer, huge part of that. I mean, the jiu-jitsu part, but then everyone just merged everything together now. Like there's probably never been a jump like that in any sport so quick.
Yeah, People ask me all the time, what's the difference? I say, back then was one style against another. It was karate against kung fu, kickboxing against boxing, to find out which style is the best. Once we proved that, then became an athlete against an athlete today. Is who is better prepared, who can cut weight easier, who does their homework better. So it's not exactly a right hand is still a right hand.
Yeah.
A roundhouse kick is a roundhouse. Choke is a choke. Arm bar is an arm bar. But the training camp, how can you cut weight and what food to eat, the recovery, the ice baths and the saunas and everything got better. You see, the training camp got better. The studying, the technology, watching the opponents. And back then there was no videos. You maybe see a picture of a guy. I remember I was like, who am I fighting? Who else on the tournament? There's a bunch of pictures of the guys. It's like no videos, not even VHS. There's nothing on them.
It's almost better.